Miss Sharon Wimbush has called, and she have a direct message from Rob, and she want to enlighten some people. So go ahead, Sharon, you got it.
Okay, hi everybody. I wanted to let everybody know that Robert sent out an email this morning, and he wants everyone to go to the website and download letters, share the website with people so you can download letters and mail out letters so that you get a letter mailing campaign going. If you do not want to send the letter that is already printed on the website, you can write your own, and you can just get the address from the website who to mail it to. You want to mail out 5 letters every single week and get people that you know to mail out 5 letters every single week. Robert sent an email at 7:35 this morning, and he just titled it website link. He said, go to this website, and the website is justicerkelly.weebly, WEEBLY.com. So if everybody can support Robert and do that, he would like that. He would appreciate that. The other thing I wanted to speak on is I've been hearing a lot of rumblings and rumors and speculation concerning his interviews. And I wanted to clear air on that so that there was no misunderstanding. People are feeling jealous, slighted, just a bunch of things that are not necessary. And it's being fed by people who want to be divisive and who want to hinder Robert's support. So let me be very clear with how that came about. Over a year ago, as you guys know, back in August of 2019, I did an interview on Rick Party's show with, what was her name? Sasha, Rick and Sasha. So it's called the Rick and Sasha Show. It was based out of Atlanta, and they had me on there. And so I had a relationship with Rick Party as a result of that. Back then, I asked Robert if he wanted to do an interview with Rick. Robert was not ready to interview. So periodically over the years, I would ask Robert if he wanted to do that because he and Rick had a friendship. They had a relationship over 30 years. They knew each other. I knew that Rick would be respectful and not be salacious with Robert. And so I would just present it to Rob from time to time. And it just so happened that a week before Robert decided to do it, I had put it in front of him again. Now, the reason the timing of this made it happen is simply because they announced that they were going to do a Surviving 3. And so before, I had said it to Rob numerous times over the years. This particular time, I think it was just the straw that broke the camel's back, hearing that they were going to do a Surviving 3. And he decided to call Rick and give the interview. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So once he did the interview, in Robert's mind, he was giving an interview to Rick Party, the person he's known in radio space for 30 years. Rick called me and said he did the interview with Robert. Rick then said to me he was putting it on the radio, but it doesn't live in the radio space. If you miss it, then you miss it. He was the executive and is the executive producer on Natasha Simona's Instagram space. So he decided to put the information there in addition to his radio so that it could go viral and more eyes and ears could see it. That was Rick Party's decision. Robert did not know Natasha Simona. I did not know Natasha Simona. Rick introduced me to her that evening. As she said on her show, we talked for 2 hours I was giving her information on the case that she may or may not have been aware of. And then the next day, she happened to call me when she was live. I was not expecting her to call me. I was actually busy doing other things, and she happened to call. So that's how that came to be. Robert wasn't ignoring his supporters. He wasn't looking past his supporters. He wasn't neglecting his supporters. Rick is a professional radio personality with 30 years experience. This was a professional interview. He needed the information to get outside of the bubble. So all of that was, I'm sure, a part of the thinking, but it was in no way, shape, or form, let me pick this person over the people that have been out here for 4 years, as some people are trying to push that narrative. And I've heard several people, why wasn't it us? Why was it her? Why was it, all this jealousy. I could have said, why wasn't it me? I could have said, Rick, give it to me. At the time, I had more subscribers. So I didn't do that. It was Rick Party's decision. It was his call. He's the professional in that medium. And as far as I'm concerned, it turned out great. We got 10 million views out the gate. And then the Storm edition added another million or two, possibly. So it was all good for Robert. And everybody should be happy about that. Instead of being petty and jealous and backbiting and, oh, he didn't pick me and it could have blew my channel up. It wasn't designed to blow anybody's channel up. It was the artist that is Rkelly giving a professional interview to a professional radio personality with 30 years experience, Rick Party. Rick made the decision to, in addition to having it on his radio platform, to put it on Natasha's platform. Robert had nothing to do with that. I had nothing to do with that. And we all had to just wait and see how it turned out. And I had to explain to Robert Rick's decision and why, I explained it verbatim the way Rick explained it to me. And it turned out great. And nobody had a problem with it, except the people who are sitting back with hurt feelings or jealousy that it wasn't them. And that's petty, it's immature, it's silly, and you're not looking out for what was in the best interest of Robert, because it wasn't given to my channel either. It wasn't put on my platform either. And I'm not walking around with an attitude and pissed off. I thought it turned out great. I supported the decision, and I do ultimately what is in the best interest of Robert.
But you want to know what killed me, Sharon? This is what killed me about, some stuff like that. If you're here for Robert, if you're here for Robert, it shouldn't matter what his decision is. It shouldn't matter if it blows up my channel or nothing like that.
Right.
It should all be a part of, okay, y'all wanted him to speak. Now he's speaking, and it's still a problem.
Right, exactly.
So at the end of the day, it's like, damn if you do, damn if you don't. Robert need to clean house and say hell with them people.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, and then people were, well, why didn't he go on a bigger platform? And he needs a PR person. And just all of this nonsense, instead of relishing in the fact that he pulled off a coup. He was able to get an interview with the only negativity he got was inside of his own supporters.
Facts.
That's where the negativity came.
The fake supporters.
Nobody saw it coming. It was positive. It did a great thing for him. And for the first time since 2017, he had press that was not talking about anything negative about him. It was just reporting something that was vital to helping him. He hadn't had that since 2017. Anybody that is a supporter of this man, anybody that is for him, should be happy that that took place. The other thing I wanted to speak on, all of a sudden, I'm hearing people trying to divide supporters, and they're doing it under the guise of, oh, he asked for rent. This means he cares more about this person than the people that are out here stomping the yard for him. Or, I can't support him because, how does he explain Roshana? Anybody that is speaking like that is here to divide and hurt Robert. Anybody that is not supportive of Robert, if you don't want to give money to whatever, you just don't do it. You don't have to go live 3 times telling everybody what they should and should not do with their money, and how they shouldn't support Joy, and you give a litany of reasons of why you think she's not good. If you choose not to donate money, you don't do that. But you shouldn't, put piss and vinegar all over any attempts to help Robert. That's just asinine. So you have a lot of people who are working for factions that are against Robert. Things that are behind the scenes, and we know it. We've covered it 1,000 times. I don't need to belabor the point. But, you have people that are on the payroll of some people, and they're here to stop every attempt to do good for Robert, to stop every attempt to help him. So I need everybody to be boots on the ground, true supporters. You know this situation is wrong. You know that everybody lied. You know that the situation with Roshana was a bunch of lies. Everybody knows that who was listening, and anybody that's saying anything other than that is a wolf in sheep's clothing.
Well, the latest thing that came to me, Sharon, was the question and was asked, like, what are you going to do now? Because Robert is innocent. And that person turned around and said, well, I don't know Robert's innocent. I don't believe he's innocent. If that's the case, how can you explain Azriel and everybody else? And I sat back and I was like, damn. Like, you was a supporter of Robert or allegedly being a supporter for Robert for 3 years, 4 years. Now you hit that, it makes sense now.
But my thing is, if you were a supporter and you decide no longer to support, then go somewhere and don't support.
Right.
But don't bring your piss and vinegar into his support system and try to prevent him from getting support. Therein lies the problem. You have a right to walk away, then walk the fuck away.
And see,
but don't put up these videos, and we know who they are because we've seen them, with this fake bullshit of, and you have to know when people are mind fucking you and they're planting seeds of division, because it's, why wasn't Joy doing this? You don't know what the fuck Joy was doing. You don't know what conversations her and Robert have had on a daily basis. You don't know what emotional support that female is bringing him.
Right.
So no one can speak on that man's relationship. No one can speak on that man's choices. We all should be here as a support system, because this is, in the eyes of the law, wrong. We know that he was acquitted in the 2008 case. We know that the government forced Roshana. We know that she was tampered with. We know that there were lies then and lies now, so she's not a credible witness. These are things that we know. So if anybody is coming forward saying whatever, It's because that's what they believed all along, and they were just here to survive off of Rkelly. And they're going wherever they think the money is, where they think they can have a peanut on this situation. So they're either riding with the person that stole his intellectual property, they're riding with the ops, they're riding with wherever they can get a cash app and a check. And that's fine. Go do your scamming and your hustling and your penny ante panhandling, but leave his support alone. Don't do Don Russell's dirty work for him. And I'm hearing people, oh, Don Russell is the only victim here. Don Russell was the only one riding for him. That tells me you're on Don Russell's payroll. And Robert has already told TMZ and every other news media, without saying his name, that the stuff was taken from his storage. So anybody that's supporting Don Russell is not for Rkelly. Anybody that's saying Don Russell was truly this is not for Rkelly. You can't serve two masters. You can't be for him and for the guy that removed his intellectual property and refused to give it back. You just can't. So please, everybody, go to the website, justicerkelly.weebly.com. Please send your 5 letters every single week. Get everybody you know to do the same. And then share the link to the website with everybody you know so we can get these letters going. And stay away from the wolf in sheep's clothing. Stand 10 toes down for Robert. Be a ride or die. And let's get him through this.
Facts.
All right, I'm going back into the bushes.
All right.
All right, bye. Thank you.
All right, no problem. That was Miss Sharon Wimbush.